And with the winning coach, Chris Coyne. Chris, again, a very standard, lovely performance.
Yeah, listen, I thought some of the football we played today was a pleasure to watch. I wouldn't mind watching it again, just out of pure enjoyment. I thought everything I'm asking them to do, it's starting to come together. Ball movement, the rotations, the movement in behind teams, and the pace in wide areas. It's formidable. We tweaked it a bit. Paul McCarthy was unlucky to miss out today after being excellent for us last week, but I just thought the formation that we had suited what they were trying to do today with going long. I didn't see the point in having the extra man in midfield, so we put him up top, so if they were going to miss lines out, it meant that we could get the ball into them areas quicker, and it proved that way. I thought David Hegney, without scoring, was magnificent. His work rate was fantastic. Gustavo, obviously, with the triple, but I thought all four of them up top today were magnificent, and the amount of work they put in and the area they covered was superb, and it epitomised what we want at this club.
Yeah, and as you say, Gustavo with a hat-trick, another excellent performance from him.
Yeah, listen, all of them are just matches off or minutes off scoring goals, and I said at half time, it doesn't matter who it is this week, because all of you are going to score 30 goals if you do the right thing. It was Gustavo's turn today, and it'll be David Hegney's or someone else's, in the weeks to come. So, I'm pleased for Gustavo, but more importantly, I'm pleased for the four of them. I asked for a response off them after the last couple of weeks, especially the forward boys. Not that they've been lazy, they just haven't given us those 1%ers, and I thought today they didn't. They gave us everything they had. They run their guts out, and I was supremely proud of them.
I remember going back at the very beginning of the season, or near enough, when Gustavo was gone through his drought, and we said it at that stage: let him score one, and the floodgates will open. It looks as though the way it's happened.
Yeah, listen, you don't not become a goal scorer overnight, and Gustavo had surgery, he had a long off season. He was away in Colombia. He'd had one season where he'd had no break at all, where he went in with glory and whatnot. So his body was just, he's not used to the rigours of professional football, and his body took a bit of a beating. But now that he's back, now that he's looking super sharp, he's super slim, and he's super exciting, and it's what you pay your money to watch, and him and David Hegney up front with the two wide boys, and even the energy of Chris Saldaris and Sammy Mitch from behind. It was a pleasure to watch, and assured as always Toddy, Deco and Jamie and Trent Coyne in the middle of the park. So I can't complain. I don't think Dev had a lot to do. He could have picked one out of his net, to be fair, but apart from that, he probably didn't have anything to do.
Well, yeah, other than the two that hit the post, there was nothing that.
Yeah, and we gave them chances because we were sloppy giving the ball away in the middle of the park, which obviously not pleasing. But we could have had another 3 or 4 without being too derogatory to Stirling. It was quite comfortable in the end, and it was just a pleasing game because I think we stuck to it for 90 minutes, and I think we were very, very solid for 90 minutes.
And of course, the way the other results have gone today, with Floriat losing and Perth in the last minute losing, it really opens up that nice little comfortable margin at the top. Not too comfortable, but comfortable nonetheless.
Yeah, we won't look at that. We've been there before, and we lost it in the first year I was here, and we were there last year, and it got close, so not too concerned. Obviously we recover, we get ready, we go again for next week against a really good Sereno side that have obviously had a great result today. And we'll get ready for that. We've started round 2 now, or the second round of fixtures. So it's important we just worry about ourselves. We just get ready for each game, and cup final this week against Sereno, and then we'll worry about Subiaco the week after that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, will the focus, obviously, and in actual fact, it may even be a bit of a break or a pleasure to be able to focus away from the league and now into something with a little bit, sort of the cut and thrust. Must-win situation.
Oh no, this is a must-win. This is a cut and thrust must-win cup final game. I think it'll be up there with the most important games we'll play this year. So, we're not scared of it. We're used to it, and we can't wait for it, to be honest with you. It's great, and the rivalry between Bayswater and Sereno, they've always been two big powerhouses of late, so we're looking forward to it. It's a massive game. I mean, financially, for the kudos of getting into it, and also for the opportunities that could arise from it. We've got an average age of about 24, 25 in there. Chuck Tongiat's almost 35 now. But these young...
But he can't play.
No, he can't, but what I'm saying, these young kids, your Saldarises, your Sam Mitchinsons, your Devon Spencers, your Jason Saldarises, these are the games that they need to play in and do well, and if they can market Archie Thompson out the game, or they can go in there and do the best against Barisha, then why not take a chance with them? Why not show them, give them the opportunity to prove their wares and have a go at the next level?
And is that what you will be hoping for, that from the FFA Cup, that maybe 2-3 of these guys get a chance in the A-League?
Of course. I want all the boys to have the opportunity to play at the highest level. Having tasted it myself, having been fortunate enough to live the dream that most young footballers want to live, I want them to experience it. It was an absolute pleasure getting out of bed at 9 in the morning and going to train for a couple of hours with your best mates and then playing golf with them in the afternoon. It's a great life and it's a great opportunity, and these kids have got the ability. Danny, Borbor, just to name a few, they've got the ability to go to the next level, if not higher. So for me, I want these boys to get that opportunity, and the only way to do it, it's not NPL, no disrespect, it's playing against them and showing them actually how good you are against their stock.
Yep. And again, it shows with Bayswater, I suppose, in the professionalism, not resting on your laurels during the transfer season, an absolute vital pick-up with Tongi. Yeah,
absolutely. I said during the week, his leadership, his winning mentality, I knew he was a good player, and then when we coached him with the state team, I didn't realise just how good he was. And it's a welcome addition. I wasn't going to touch him, I wasn't going to speak to him this year, and it was only by pure coincidence that Balcatta didn't want his services anymore that the conversation was had. So massive addition to the squad, massive leader, and very versatile. He can play at the back, he can play up top. I'm sure he could play in a holding midfield role for you to make things difficult. So it's good to have him around. He's got good banter, he's got good presence, and you've got to have that about you in our dressing room because there's some really strong characters in there, and he'll fit the mould perfectly. I keep saying it, good people and good players, that's what we always look for.
Well, I spoke to him earlier during the half-time break and was asking him how he's going to break into the side. So if I was you, I'd be putting Chris Sildaris and that in cotton wool.
Yeah, we'll just lock Tommy in a padded cell, I think. So, no, listen, training's competitive, and I don't pick the team based on anything other than performance. So no one's guaranteed. I think Declan Hargreaves said it this week. No one's guaranteed a spot. I've had to leave Paul McCarthy out, who's one of my best players, just because it didn't suit the system we wanted to play. So, everyone's on notice. Everyone's got to be aware that we set high standards. But the pleasing thing for me is that the boys set these standards for themselves as well, and they self-govern, or they've got self-governance, which makes my life, Stewie and Dodsy's life easy, and it means that they're always on their toes because they're trying to do the best and the most professional thing by each other.
Now, coming up to the Cup, and I won't hold you up much longer because I think there's another one waiting for you to talk to. That's what you get for being a popular and winning coach. That too. But will you change? Obviously you won't be playing with 4 up front against Sorrento next week. What will you do? Sit down, discuss it, and sort out a setup for next Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we'll watch the game from today. I reckon Sorrento will play 2 big lumps up top and try and launch it forward. So, I'm more than comfortable with that as long as we keep a high line because, we've got an exceptionally quick back 4. Like I said, we do pay respect to every club we play. We will watch the DVD and see how they played and set up accordingly. But, we're more concerned with ourselves. As long as we make the boys aware of the dangers that clubs or teams can pose to us, we concentrate on ourselves a lot more. So we do outline it, but we make sure that we're organised.
And who did you pick as your man of the match today?
Wow, it's a tough one. I'd probably have to say Jamo. I think Jamie was very good today, very reassured, very composed, broke everything down, and then when something was needed to be done, he sort of stepped up. So I think he started a lot of what we were good at today. So I'd probably have to say Jamo today, but it could have been 1 of 6 or 7, apart from Devon.
Okay, mate. Listen, congratulations again, and the best of luck for next weekend.
Thanks
in the Cup, and I'll see you during the week.
Much appreciated, buddy. Take care, bye.
Cheers.